Hey peeps, this is Polar Bee. It's been a while since I made a video, and to tell you the truth, I've been quite busy with a lot of different things. But I was thinking about a subject that I wanted to talk about, and I've thought about it for a while, and I think I'm going to go ahead and bring it up. Anger has always been one of the things that was the hardest thing for me to even deal with. Anger about my abuse issues, anger about the abuse that happened, anger at my perpetrators, and for a long time, if you don't deal with anger, it manifests itself in other ways, and it affects you in negative ways. It can affect your stress level, it can affect relationships, just in different ways if you don't deal with it. If it's repressed anger or even rage, it can manifest itself in different ways that are unhealthy for you. Anger, I always used to think anger, I can't really say that I was afraid of it. Maybe I felt like if I expressed my full anger and rage at the abuse issues, that I wouldn't be able to control my anger. Now there is no doubt that at times I have immediately reacted with anger in different things, situations, situations that make you mad, whether it's work, stress, spouse, friends, whatever. And you have an immediate reaction, and that's anger, and you react right then. I am talking about that kind of anger, but I'm also talking about more anger about abuse and stuff. I used to really be afraid to even express anger because I felt like I was going to lose control, and that something bad would happen. And that's probably because as a kid, especially in dysfunctional families, if you came from a childhood of abuse, you probably saw some of your perpetrators, how they reacted in anger, and how that it always had a negative connotation to it. So anger kind of sometimes is thought of as a bad thing, about a negative thing. It doesn't always have to be that way, though. I thought if I actually got in touch with the level of anger that I felt inside, that I would literally kill somebody. That was an unfounded fear, because I think that, I used to talk to my therapist about that I just felt so much anger at my abusers, and that I felt like if I ever saw my father again or whatever as an adult, that I would just go off on him, and there'd be no controlling me, and I would just, I'd kill him. But it didn't have to come to that, because he died of his own causes or whatever. But anyway, when I started talking to my therapist about it, and about dealing with anger, and how that I was kind of afraid to feel it and stuff, she said, she goes, probably you think that if you feel anger, that you have to do something about it. And I think that was one of the things that made me think about anger in a different way, was because she said, the only thing that you have to do with anger is just be willing to feel it. It doesn't require action. It doesn't require reaction. Just feel it. Just be willing to feel it. And we did some practices, some exercises at just being willing to feel the anger. Just feel it and acknowledge it, and then let it go. Not quite that simple when, you're in the middle of things, and, you're feeling angry about things or whatever. But I will tell you that some of the ways that I have dealt with anger over the years, especially particularly with my abuse issues, there are constructive things that you can actually do with anger to turn it into a positive, and I'm going to give you an example of that in just a little bit. I have to watch my time though, because I'm really known for talking over. But if you feel like your anger has to be expressed in some way, it was kind of told to me in one way that it's kind of like when you feel that type of anger, when you feel that type of rage simmering underneath the surface, you know, it's kind of like a boiling pot. And sometimes you do have to let the lid off and let out the steam so that the pressure doesn't just keep building and building and building. But there are healthy ways that you can let off the steam. A couple things that you can do that are not destructive towards yourself or towards anybody else. You can come up with some creative ways to express the anger. You can do it through art. You can do it through using black and red crayons or markers and using it just, you know, getting down and dirty with the paper and expressing it that way. You can express it by using clay, putting all of your anger into the clay as you're working it. You can do that. If you feel like you need to do something a little bit more physical, you can do an anger dance. Put on some heavy metal music or whatever, you know, music that is going to like really get in touch with the feeling, and, you know, dance. Let it out. Let it out. You can do physical activity like boxing, kickboxing. That's a great one. If you have those boxing bags or whatever, get some gloves or whatever. But the thing about it is you don't have to do an action. I felt like I had so much rage inside that I actually did have to do something. A couple things that I have done to release my anger is safe things that felt safe to me and safe to everyone else. Was I actually got myself a big pillow, held it as tight as I could, and just screamed into it as much as I could. Screamed until I couldn't scream anymore. Be careful that you don't damage your vocal cords, because I have screamed so much that I have actually became hoarse and couldn't hardly talk. I am going to run out of time. I know I am. But anyway, another thing that you can do is, you know those great big fat kids bats that you can get at, you know, like a Walmart or the dollar store or something? They usually come with a great big ball, wiffle ball, but they're great big fat bats, and they're made out of like a plastic material. You can actually take one of those and you can use it with all of your might on your mattress or on your bed or whatever. It doesn't hurt anything. It makes a lot of sound, which is kind of good and effective. But you can use that, and you won't be hurting a thing. You won't be hurting a thing, but you will release some of that from your body. Another thing that you can do is to go to a dollar store somewhere and buy a bunch of dishes, glass dishes. And if you have an old barn or a building or a garage or a back of the garage or something that you can throw them at and express and throw the dishes, just let them break. It's okay. It's not going to hurt anything. It's not sure that you're standing back far enough that you wear either safety glasses or something like that. But you can express your anger in those ways that are a little bit safer. I'm going to make a second video because I know I can see right now I'm running out of time. See you in a few minutes.